All right, so I've made some people pretty mad. My last video got a bunch of comments calling me a scummy scalper, and then a whole Reddit thread popped up about it, calling me scalper scum and saying I'm ruining the Pokemon hobby. Now, look, everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but I just wanted to address some of these comments because honestly, I think they're just fundamentally wrong, and I feel like I'm catching some misplaced anger about the whole thing. I could ignore it and move on, but I think there's a bigger conversation to be had here, and instead of reacting to every comment, I want to actually break this down properly and give you my take on the whole thing. So let's talk about what's actually happening in the Pokemon hobby right now, because whether you think I'm scalping or not, we all know that buying Pokemon cards at retail is almost impossible. And there's two big reasons for that. One is scalpers. Like, they do exist. These people who camp outside of retail stores on release day, they buy up all the stock and make it artificially scarce so that regular customers have no chance of buying it themselves. Then once they've cleared out all the shelves, they flip that product online for double, sometimes even triple the price, knowing that people are going to pay for it because there's nowhere else to get it. That is scalping. That is scummy. That is a problem. 100%. There's also another reason I feel like no one seems to be talking about, and that is Pokemon themselves. Now, they have recently come out and said that they've not printed enough product to meet demand. Now, if there was more stock in stores, scalpers wouldn't be able to make a profit because people could just go in and buy the product themselves. Like, scarcity drives up secondary market prices. That's why rare cards like Moonbreon sell for thousands, but the Obsidian Flames Charizard, which by the way is a really nice card, barely sells for 10% of that. And that's mainly because Obsidian Flames was so widely available, it was printed in huge numbers and people were just pulling the Charizards constantly, and then that made the price go down. If Pokemon printed to meet demand, more like how they do in Japan, for example, then the prices wouldn't spike like this, and we wouldn't even be having this conversation in the first place. I also think people don't really understand how market price works. Whether it's Pokemon cards, watches, trainers, even houses, these things only have value because of the secondary market. If there was no resale market, none of these things would be worth anything. And that's literally what makes them valuable. Do you think a first edition base set Charizard back in 1999 was worth loads of money? No, it was worth a couple of quid. And some people probably just threw it in a binder. But because it's become harder to find, its value has gone up because scarcity drives market price. And that's exactly what's happening in Pokemon right now. All right, now let's talk about what I actually did in my last video. So I bought Pokemon cards on Facebook Marketplace at prices above retail. These were not products that I cleared off store shelves. These were cards that were already circulating in the secondary market. And then I sold them in a way that made them more accessible to my community. And yet people are calling me a scalper for doing this, but scalping is when you buy at retail, create scarcity, and then jack up the price. I didn't do that. I paid market price, which was already inflated, and then I resold them in a different way. If that's scalping, then every card shop, every eBay seller, they're all scalpers too. And here's what completely undermines that argument. A lot of my sales started from £1 bids. If I was trying to actually scalp, why would I let the audience decide the price that they want to pay for it? Why wouldn't I just set buy it now listings at insane markups like actual scalpers do? People were literally paying what they wanted for the products. Now look, I get it. People are protective over Pokemon, and yes, scalping has been a massive issue, especially recently. We've seen people clear out stores, making it impossible for collectors and kids to get products, but that is not what I'm doing at all. If anything, I'm adding liquidity to the market. I'm moving product from buyers and sellers and making it more accessible. Like, if you think about it, would you rather pay £75 for an ETB and get no hits, or would you rather pay £20 and get a guaranteed hit? It just feels like such a no-brainer. I even opened up a couple of ETBs that I pre-ordered for myself, and I just got nothing out of them, and it sucked. At the end of the day, I am running a business, and I don't pretend to do otherwise. I've always been transparent on this channel, and I know this content isn't for everyone, and that's perfectly fine, but let's be real. Half the people calling me a scalper are selling their own cards on eBay at market price. You can't tell me if you pulled a Moonbreon today, you wouldn't consider selling it at market value instead of retail price. That's just how the whole system works. If you sell bulk, if you flip a card, or you trade for something of higher value, You are engaging in the same exact economy that I am. So where do you draw the line? Pokemon has been a business for nearly 30 years. The resale market isn't new, it's just more visible now because of platforms like Whatnot, YouTube, and social media. I've been collecting cards since I was a kid, and the business comes out of a passion for the hobby, not just to turn a profit. I want to build a community that I've been a part of for decades and bring people together. Like, even my long-term goal is to open a brick and mortar store. I'm not just here to make a quick buck. But in the same light, I can't get there without making money in the meantime from things like Whatnot or an online store. And the funny thing is, local game shops do the exact same thing that I'm doing, but because I'm selling it online, suddenly it's a problem. I completely get that people don't like resellers because of a couple of bad actors, you know, the ones that actually do scalp products. People who clear out shelves the moment a set drops and relist it at double or triple the price. But lumping every seller into that category is just lazy, especially when a lot of people didn't even watch the video and see what I was actually doing. At the end of the day, if you don't like what I'm doing, that's fine. I'm not here to convince you otherwise, but don't act like I'm the first person to ever buy and resell cards. If you think reselling is bad, that is completely your opinion, but at least understand what scalping actually is before you go throwing that word around. And if you're just looking for someone to be mad at, I don't know what to tell you. If you genuinely love the hobby and want to have a real conversation about this, I'd love to, but if you're just gonna sit in the comments raging and calling me scum, then argue with a wall. People love to hate on resellers until they're the ones selling. They hate the secondary market until they're the ones flipping a big card, and they rage in the comments while listing their own pulls on eBay for market price. So if you're still mad, maybe you're just mad you didn't get there first. If you like Pokemon content or you like business content, hit subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.